Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today for your Sunday series, it's going to be a semi-final from Katowice 2020. It's going to be a best of 5 between Serral and Zest, starting here on World of Sleepers. Top right-hand corner, we've got the Red Zerg player Serral. Bottom left-hand corner, it is Zest. He's blue, he's Protoss. You probably could have told that by the fact that I said Zest, because man, he had a great Katowice run this year. I'm not going to tell you whether he won or lost this series in case you haven't seen it. All right, so 16, 18, 17 here. Hold. Okay, just checking to see there's not a probe coming. Huh, that was kind of weird. Never actually seen that before from Serral. There you go. 16 hatch, 18 gas when you have about 100 minerals, or maybe around 150. And then 17 pool as soon as you can afford it. That is the 16, 18, 17. And a gateway expand here from Zest down on the other side. Oh boy, this is going to be good. Hey, you know that I cast live StarCraft 2 over on AfricaTV.com? Yes, I do. Every 2 weeks. I cast in Africa World. Let's see, the last one I did was a 2v2 tournament featuring European professional players featuring Kelazar and Uthermal and Denver and Clem, and it was a fantastically good time. 2v2s are insane, you guys. You should come check them out. Come check out the 2v2s. Enjoy it. Learn how to play 2v2s from the pros. How often do you see 2v2 stuff from the pro players? Like that, honestly. Uthermal, is he doing 2v2s a lot? I don't know. Not that I'm aware of. So regardless, come check it out. I'll put a link in the description. AfricaTV.com/LaughinGames. Go bookmark it. Check it out. I know it's not Twitch. I know it's not YouTube. I know it's hard to get people to a different streaming service than what they're used to. But if you want to see me cast live professional StarCraft 2, that is the place that you need to go. Got a Paladin coming up here from Zest. Just trying to see we can get some shenanigans pulled over the eyes of your old Serral here. I like the play. I like it very much indeed. At this point, Serral's like, all right, there's been no probe scout. Right? Yeah, no probe scout is so odd. Look at him running around. He knows there's a proxy somewhere because the probe has not been bothering him today. Trying to see if there may be a block at my third base, or there cannons coming up over here. No, cool. All right. He's going to try to find this little pylon. Not just a pylon now. It's a Stargate. Oh, it's a proxy Stargate. An Oracle showing up about 10 seconds normally than it would can actually be a problem for pro players. And for lower level players too, to be honest. So here we go. Slowling's coming in. I don't see anything amiss here necessarily. There is an adept, and I don't have speed. So I am dead. There we go. A little bit delayed on the dead there, but third base coming up at about 2:30. Timings are epic here for Serral, just normal stuff. Stalker chasing away the Overlord. He's going to get up to a higher ground here where he is invisible. See? Can't see him. Can't see him at all. At least I can see if there's a third nexus or anything over here. And it's just an Oracle. So the Oracle's name is the Spanish Inquisition. The perfect name for an Oracle, as no one expects it. You know what? Normally I would disagree with that statement, but Serral is not expecting this Oracle. Not at this time, not coming from this direction, and he doesn't have any spores up because it's here at 3:30 instead of 4 minutes. And yeah, this is good stuff here. 2 drones down. Lot of lost mining time there from Serral, and the Oracle's forced to pull back. I feel like you could have done more than that, Mr. Oracle friend. Are you making another one? No. Spanish Inquisition here decides to hit on home, just putting some fear of Protoss into Serral and calling it a day. How odd. I thought for sure he would have stuck around and tried to get more kills, but, I mean, Queen DPS is pretty insane as it is, and it was lost mining time for Serral, so that counts for something. Setting up at the third base is going to be good, and Lings did find the proxy Stargate. He knows where it is generally. Based on where that Oracle came from, the time that it showed up, Serral's really smart that way. So he depowers the Stargate, third base from Zest at 4 minutes. That is pretty greedy. He has literally nothing here to defend it. I mean, the good news for him is that Serral has like 5 Zerglings, so that's not going to kill it either. I brought some Adepts over. We're good. We're good, Zest. Don't you worry your pretty little head about that one. Any more kills? No, still the 2 here for the Spanish Inquisition, and Serral expects it now. And that's a problem for the Spanish Inquisition. If you're expected as the Inquisition, well, then, you're going to be fine. You can, like, run or prepare. I don't even know. Did people rebel against the Spanish Inquisition back in the day? Were they like, we're not going to stand for this at all? And they, like, fought against it, or just it petered out on its own? I kind of feel like, sadly, it probably petered out on its own. Mud Oracle going to try to set down a stasis ward, and that drone will accept the trap, and everybody gets back to work. Serral just casually handling that, no big deal. It is a Nidus Canal coming in from Serral, though. Off of these 3 bases and about 50 workers. You have a Roach Warren, he's got a Roach Warren. This feels kind of like a Roach Queen Nidus play, but that's definitely something we see more along the lines of, well, more along the lines of against Terran. It is a Resonating Glaives Adept play, though, as Resonating Glaives just finished up. But he's got a Roach Warren. I think he's going to be fine here. I mean, sure, this many Adepts with Resonating Glaives are fantastic against low numbers of Roaches. But third base is going to die for Zest. The third base is a graveyard here for Serral, which is bad. Nidus erupts. Lings are in here trying to take down this Nexus at the third base. Meanwhile, the Adepts are here. Oh! Actually got a hit on those unbuildable rocks there. Lings getting us around, and then Roach is coming on in next. Yeah, this is held. This is held. 6 drones died, but that doesn't really matter. Also, the third base Nexus for Zest is down, and in what is a scrappy game 1, I think that's it. I really don't see how Zest comes back from this. He went for the Adept all-in. Did not accomplish much with it at all, honestly. The third base is still alive. Killed a couple Roaches, but whatever. We got Queens, we have Ravagers, we have Lings here. Zest is on 2 base. He doesn't have a third. He really doesn't even have much of an army either at 21 supply army. Was pretty all in, is the thing. The Adepts, he cut probes to make this happen with the Adepts. The Adept didn't get enough done, and this happens in StarCraft, man. You go for an early attack, and then suddenly the counter's really strong because he didn't get enough damage done, and you die. Cybernetics core down. No warping and additional sentries or stalkers here. You can still make immortals with this robotics facility. So, 2 robos, I apologize. Another stasis coming up, and Serral's attention is a little bit out on that one. 4 drones get stasis. Shield battery holding right now. Nidus Worm coming up right in the face of Zest here. Serral's feeling good about this, you guys. He's feeling exceptionally good, I gotta say. But, you know what? These Immortals getting some work done. 3 kills on that one, 5 kills on that one. Nidus Worm getting focused by the Immortals, and Serral wants to save it. Actually pins and kills an Immortal there. Woo, Corrosive Bile's going down. Really problematic. There's still 2 Immortals here, though, because we're just producing them nonstop out of these Robos. The Nidus Worm is killed, but there's creep at the front door of Zest, and that's never anything you want to experience as a Protoss player. Let me tell you what. You never want to be experiencing that at all. Ravager's up. Ravager against this is pretty good. They don't take bonus damage from any of the units here at all. But they do have a lower health pool than the Roaches. That said, that bonus damage makes all the difference. You want Ravagers rather than the Roaches against this for sure. Zest just kind of sitting back, probing up a little bit. He's at 51 workers now, where he was, you know, a little bit lower than that. Nidus coming up right inside the main base of Zest. Trying to get a third base down here. Nice corrosive. Oh, corrosives. And force fields coming up here, causing some problems. Nidus going to erupt in the main, though. And, well, some Roaches are coming out. That Stalker's dead. Another Nidus coming up at the natural base. Ravager down inside the natural of Zest. Third base for Zest in trouble. Roaches getting into the mineral line. Some Stalkers trying to deal with this. Not going to work out very well against Speedlings and Roaches. I can tell you that much. And then the third base is canceled. Zest still on 2 base. Serral's got a 4th base coming up. He's about 50% complete on that one. Army supply 64 to 41. Zest he's holding on admirably here. I'm not going to tell him he's playing poorly at all. It's just the Adept attack didn't do enough damage, and he cut too many workers, and now he's in a position where it is not good for him at all. Third base, again, not going to happen. Stop trying to make third base happen, Zest. It's not going to happen. And he goes back into the Nidus again. This Nidus Worm is still up here. They're creeping onto a potential third base location. This creep is actually stopping construction of a third base. Zest really wants to throw down a Nexus, but he can't until this creep recedes. There we go. Nexus coming up just in time. Now it's time for Banelings, though, with centrifugal hooks. Income. Do I not? This was not. Why don't I have my income? Was this not played with the game heart? Holy smokes, I don't think it was. This is the semifinal of Katowice. What on earth? That Nidus Worm's not coming up. Well, I mean, does that count as coming up? I don't know. So here come the Banelings. Centrifugal hooks is almost done. That's just too much damage on that third. It's not happening. Nice force fields keeping the Banelings away, but I mean, that Nexus, Down to the red. Another Nidus pops up back here. A secondary location. That's a cancel. Banelings trying to roll in. Nice force fields. There's a tiny bit of a hole there. The target firing on the Banelings is amazing. The Immortals absorbing a lot of the shots, but still getting injured. Good game. Serral takes game number 1 here in a dead scrappy PvZ to start us off today in your Sunday series. Wow. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the series so far. It's been really excellent to this point. I mean, dang. Again, Zest was in a bad place when the early attack did not do as much as he needed it to. But he held on 2 bases. He really knew he needed a 3rd base. He tried and he tried and he tried. Just couldn't make it happen. Serral knew not to push in too far into an entrenched Protoss, but make sure that his 3rd base died and force him to come out to try to deal with it and then handle it that way. The Banelings were a big play. Force fields were good, but not good enough. And that's it. That's a 1-0 lead in the best of 5. Sweet. Let's move into game number 2 here in just a second. Game 2 is here on Nightshade. Bottom right, Serral. Top left, it is Zest. All right. What's our answer going to be for this, Zest? I wonder if he's going to try another Adept All-In in this series because, man, Serral shut that down pretty effectively. He didn't lose 0 drones, but 6 drones is not enough damage for an Adept All-In. I think he's going to Probe Scout this time instead of just throwing down a Proxy Pylon. Let's see if that is the case. Man, this is going to be a good series. I can feel it in my bones. Zest is playing so well. A lesser Protoss player would have just immediately died after that counterattack from Serral. But man, Zest held on. He scrapped, he clawed. And he lost. But man, it took a while for Serral to finish him off there. Serral's like, fine, block my natural. I don't care. I want 3 bases early anyway. No big deal. Or NBD, as the kids would say, or text. Speaking of kids, man, my oldest turned 12. Oh, feeling old here. I mean, I always feel old. Just because, again, I have the 3 brain cells and all. But, man, having a child who is 12 years old is just, it makes me feel like I'm 100, and it's not great. So, we're trying to do things to stay young here, though. Trying to have fun, trying to do StarCraft, trying to play StarCraft, trying to, I don't know, man, go jump on a trampoline somewhere. We actually have a trampoline. Which I know I'm gonna get a lot of comments from people who are like, trampolines are dangerous. Yes, fair. Bad things can happen on trampolines. I've been injured a little bit on trampolines. My kids have been hurt a little bit on trampolines. But, I don't know. It's exercise. It's fun. Doing anything that's exercise and fun, there's a chance of being hurt in some way. So I'm not freaking out about it. And that's maybe gonna be something I regret saying at some point publicly. But hey, so far, so good. I mean, I grew up with a trampoline. I had a trampoline in my backyard for the time I was 7. Until I moved out of the house at 17 and never broke a bone. Nobody in my family ever broke a bone on that thing. We had a turned ankle once, and that was the worst injury I can remember on it. So, I don't know. We're going to stop talking about trampolines now. Serral, what are you up to, friend Aruni? You're going to take your third natural here? We're going to call it a natural, which is incredibly natural to say. Let's see, what are we at? About 2:30, about the timing. The Lings are going to come down and be like, hey, but for real, get out of our neighborhood. Nice mineral walk through those Lings. Did you know if you right-click a probe on a mineral patch, no matter where it is and no matter where the probe is, it will walk through any units in its way to get there. Pretty cool stuff, huh? We're going to expand? Yes. All right, so Serral now has the resources to expand. He gonna do it. Warp gate on the way from Zest. Again, nothing too interesting until there is a Twilight Council. Oh, and a robotics facility, which feels more along the lines of going to be some Archon harass with a warp prism. So we'll see how that works out. Zerglings jumping in, and you know what? They can get through a wall that only has a Stalker in it. If there's not an Adept here, it actually takes a couple shots, 3 in particular, for a Stalker to kill a Zergling, which is hilarious. And so Stalker down for a handful of Lings. That's why Lings are an excellent answer to Stalkers. Partially because Stalkers just take a ton of damage from them, and because it takes them 3 shots to kill a Zergling. It's really bad news. Stalkers are good against a lot of things. Air units, for example, yes. But against Zerglings, no. Noticeable. He's doing it again. What? Remember when I was like, we'll do it twice in a row. He's going Resonating Glaive Adepts again. Let's see how Serral handles this one. He is getting a Roach War in. He does have a Scout coming in. My gosh, he's scouting this perfectly. Look at that. He saw the upgrade coming on the Twilight Council. He saw the Chrono Boost. He sees the robotics facility. He sees the additional gateways. This Overlord has a good picture of what's coming into the front, and it's just Adepts. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I don't know what's possessing Zest to try this, to be honest with you, but I don't know. Resonating Glaive Adepts are good if the Zerg player doesn't respond perfectly to it, and I just don't know how I expect Serral to not respond perfectly to this, is what I'm trying to say. He got the perfect scout off. There's nothing here that can kill him because that Stalker died, and Zest isn't making any more of those. So the Adepts are here. The War Prism is here. Roaches are in production. It's 36 workers apiece. The army supply is bigger for Serral, though, and that's not a good thing for Zest at all. So the Roaches, yeah, I mean, it's like 1 Roach to 1 Adept. It's bad. Look at it. Just get out. Just get on out of here. Nothing but Roaches in production right now. Going for a little bit of anti-air with a Spore Crawler up here somewhere. Where's he building that Spore? Anyway, like I said, the Adepts will trade pretty well against smaller numbers of Roaches, but the Roaches can stand in and keep the Adepts from really doing what they want to do, which is to kill drones. So Serral's held it. I mean, he's droning up a little bit. He's making a couple more Roaches. These Adepts are incredibly annoying because they don't have to finish transfers. They can sit out here and just shade in endlessly and force you to respond to it over and over again. So he's actually walling off... Oh, that's where the Spore was. He's walling off his main, so the Adepts can't get up here. That's smart. I like this a lot, actually. And it's just... Oh, yeah. Ling's up at the top base. It's just... you don't wall because you can pick up that Spore Crawler and get rid of it. And the Adepts are going to have a hard time killing that. Oh, my gosh. That's so Gosu! What a play! Serral, you are sick sometimes. The stuff you managed to do... I feel like stealing that. So what do we got here? Roach Horn at the top, Evolution Chamber at the top, and then just a Spore Crawler. Help. Did the Lings get inside the base? How? What? That I assumed they were not getting inside the base. Actually, you know what? 0 probes died there. Good job, probes. Way to defend the homeland against the evil Zergling incursion. Yeah, so, I mean, again, the Adepts are annoying, but, like, what are they going to do? It's 54 to 46 workers. Third base is coming up for Zest. I think maybe the trick here is that Zest is keeping his Adepts alive this time, which seems incredibly useful. Oh, they almost killed that Creep Tumor. Hey, oh, they're going to get it. They got it. Detection came in. Yeah, Roaches are going to have speed. Again, I don't know why you think you're getting up that ramp. That door is closed. And will be every time you try to come up it from the time on now. Yeah, it's just Roaches. I don't know what else to tell you here. Zest got Blink started. He's just sharking. Oh. Plant. No! Serral left the front door open. What? No! Lift the supply depot. All of a sudden, there's Adepts in your house killing your dudes. 7 drones go down. They're coming up to the natural base to try to kill some things too, and then they recall out. So 9 drones get killed because Serral didn't actually plant his Spore Crawler again after picking it up. I don't know what to tell you. That was nuts. I mean, sure, he's not a Terran player, right? He's not used to having... Oh, yeah, that's War Prism's doing nothing with all the queens here. He's not used to having to lift and lower his wall. Walling off is so foreign to Zerg players. Overseer comes in and says, the Adepts are home. That's very cool. Shenanigans with the War Prism killing 2 more drones, but Serral's fine. I mean, he's lost, what, 11 drones in the first 8 minutes here. He's on 3 bases. He hasn't lost a queen yet. That's a massive play for him. He's probably going to take a 4th base. He really, there you go, should take a 4th base soon because Zest has been on 3 for some time. It does not bode well for the Finnish Zerg player to have Zest be on 3 bases for or about as much time as Serral's been on 3 bases, it feels like. Not great. Observer, down. Nice pick off. Killing observers is so darn satisfying. Adept Stalker Immortal, the next play here. 24 Lings in production. 6 Ravagers coming up. It seems ample to hold whatever Zest is going to toss at the Zerg player here. Fairly vulnerable down here to the south for his 4th. He needs to engage off creep here, which sucks. He hasn't been able to spread his creep out to the 4th base, so he doesn't have the speed bonus availed to him if he's defending his other bases. Ling's heading up to the third, try to do something about it, but there's an Immortal and 2 Adepts, and they have Resonating Glaives, and they're positioned well, so no. You need more to take this out, that's for sure. Some Banelings would be cool, as there are Banelings on the way, 13 of them. Centrifugal Hooks coming in as well. Serral has gotten through the danger zone of this game, taken some hits. He's alive, and he's ready to do that counterattack we saw in the last game. But this time, Zest is able to get a third and keep the third for a much longer amount here. He got it up earlier during the attack. He's got some static defense here. He's got some High Templar. He's working on Psionic Storm. Liking this. What? Why are these not played with the game heart? I'm so confused right now. This was the semifinal of a premier event. Anyway, the 4th base is in trouble because there's Adepts trying to kill it, which normally not much of a concern, but you can't mine here if there are Adepts hanging out. Zerglings are here to handle it. Ah, but the Warp Prism micro is good. And no Adepts die. Meanwhile, Serral coming up the other side. Banelings, oh my gosh, the Baneling hits, though. They get a couple of the sentries, not all of them. The Protoss player is grateful for. Banelings rolling through Storm, hitting on some of these High Templar, too. The High Templar taking some hits, doing their own little bits of damage on their basic attack they've had for some time now, which is really just to prevent them from moving to the front and dying, but Zest holds that like a boss. Trailing Corrosive Vials make sure that nobody can follow. Creep Spread is connecting the 4th base now. Serral is saturating it. But yeah, Roach, Ravager, Baneling, Zergling, not quite able to do it this time. Storm is here, and that's the difference. Zest was not anywhere close to Storm the last time this counterattack came. The timings are just working out better for him. Kind of incredibly, to be honest with you. I like what Zest is doing. I like he's a 3-basing Protoss. I like that it's a giant army. I like that he has Storm against this Ling, Baneling, Ravager thing. Storm is going to be the godsend. It is going to be what's going to help. Alright, so using some force fields to kill a bunch of Zerglings is not a bad thing. Just energy, right? Free units. Creep spread in. Not exactly a priority for Serral right now. As some of these... Oh, you know what? That might have been right on time. Maybe I should not try to malign Serral here. Hard to say. So Zest is up in army supply. 94 to 84. Army supply here. He's going to maybe try to expand down this left side while setting some charge lots down here too to see what's what. Maybe harass that 4th while pushing the front. Zest is multi-pronged, harassing like an absolute killer right now. Sharking about, trying to see what he can do. Zest keeping his High Templar close to the army composition. There's Lings running around. If those High Templar are lagging behind, well, they're going to get surrounded and killed. Zest takes a 4th base on this low ground. The Zealots are maybe going to charge in. Maybe once this army actually attacks into the front here. 4th base in trouble if these Lings jump on it right now. And that's I think that's a cancel. Oh yeah, that's a cancel. Nicely done. That was a great jump from Serral. Lost some Zerglings, but whatever. Banelings in. And I mean, sure, we'll kill some cannons, I guess. But all the Protoss probes stayed alive, and that's a huge deal. Infestation Pit in production from ye Serral. Creep spread in. Again, fairly well here. And we've got a good army of Archons, Immortals, Stalkers, High Templar, and more Archons. I kind of like it. Really do. Zerglings want to jump in here. They've got +2 melee now, which makes them that much scarier. The Banelings will one-shot probes if they make a connection, so 6 probes go down. Could have been worse. Could have absolutely been worse. Zealots coming in. Not enough Roaches actually to handle it, and the 4th base of Serral could go down. No. Banelings crashing in. More Zealots running to their deaths. Zest sitting on creep up here actually takes down an attempt at a 5th base of Serral's while all these shenanigans are happening. And you know what? Serral is a 4-baser against a 4-basing Protoss. Not where you need to be. He's going for a Spire. The Zealots are handling this Roach Ling Baneling attack with absolute aplomb. Storm and Banelings, what a beautiful scene. Two of the more pretty spells and units here in StarCraft. Warp Prism dies. And you know, it's pretty close on army supply. Zest has a bit of a lead. These Zealots coming in to the 4th base again. Gonna cause some problems. The banelings are gonna crash on them, no problem. Get on out of there. Immortals, Zealots marching in here. Serral is being pulled in a million different ways. Zest is killing creep tumors. Zest is doing flank attacks on Ravagers here. The Immortals just sitting back, racking up the kills. 12 kills, 14 kills, 17 kills on those guys. 5 drones gone down. There's no mining happening at this 4th base at all right now. And even if Serral manages to hold this, I think Zest economy is just too much. Banelings exploding on Immortals, trying to get rid of them. 20 kill Immortal, 21 kill Immortal. Good game! Zest manages to tie the series up 1-1. Wow, fantastic display right there from these two players. Zest manages to get the win. He goes for the Adept attack. He doesn't lose the Adepts this time, though. That's important. He doesn't sack the Adepts. He does manage to kill some drones anyway. And then he escapes and he gets on out, getting a 3rd base in the meantime, rushing towards Storm. Just overall, a beautifully played game by Zest, making sure the 4th base has a hard time coming up, killing the 5th base before it even does come up there, and yeah, it's just too much Protoss, too many bases, and even Serral can't come back from that one, so he taps out. We're 1-1, moving into game number 3. Don't go anywhere, stick around, we shall return shortly. We're here on Triton, top left Zest, bottom right Serral. Falcon Paladin Hour. Search it on your podcast app, no matter what it is, to hear me and Samacron talk about StarCraft 2, talk about different stuff that's coming up in the nerd culture. It's a weekly podcast. We've been doing it for a while now. Falcon Paladin Hour, no matter what your podcast app is. And if you don't have a podcast app, you can find us on the web as well. What do we call it these days? The web, the internet, the intertubes... World Wide Web? Just internet? Just saying internet seems boring, though. I don't know. Whatevs. Gateway here for Zest. Zest has been known to cannon rush in the past. I fairly erroneously said the other day that I feel like Zest is a very passive Protoss player. He's not super interested in going for crazy all-ins, but you know what? I've seen him cannon rush recently at Katowice, and I've also seen him go for 2 Adept all-ins versus Serral in 2 games. So maybe that's just a function of I really don't want to play late game versus Zerg, and especially against late game Serral. That's a fake pylon. Isn't that a fake pylon? That's like I'm cannon rushing you. Use some resources to shut this down. Ha ha ha. I mean, Serral doesn't know. This could be a cannon rush. It's kind of a crap place for a cannon rush. Oh, that's a canceled pylon. Absolutely. So 2 probes or 2 drones come off the line, and the pylon is not canceled. What? What is happening? The drones are like, there could be cannons. Sure. But there's not going to be. I don't even know if this is worth it for Zest. Sure, 2 drones are off the line permanently here, but I don't know how much it hurts Serral, is what I'm trying to say. He's got a pool coming up. His timings are not disrupted at all. I think the fact that there's not a cannon coming up at this point, Serral should feel like it's a total fake out. Yeah, so some lings are on the way. The drones are going to go to work now, and even if a cannon starts coming up now, it'll be killed by the lings as they're popping out of these here eggs, 1 at the natural and 1 at the main. So, okay, again, fake out. Nothing really to be concerned about here if you are Serral. 3rd base, probably, yeah, down this way is your 3rd base location. Probe going to deny that as much as it possibly can. Speed in production. Stargate coming up here too. By Stargate, I mean, there it is. Stargate is here, as close it can be as it can be to the Zerg base, while still being inside Zest's base. Not going for the proxy at this time. Look at him not even worrying about that pylon. Yeah, sure, you're going to have the pylon. It'd be hilarious if Zest warped something in here, though. All right, so we're working on it. We're going to kill it now with Queens, because what else is their DPS going to do here? Not a concern at all. Overlord sees what's going on. There's a Stalker in production. Again, the Stargate indicates there will be no Adept all-ins today. And Serral's 3rd base is coming in at about 2:30. So timing's fine for Serral. He's feeling all right about this. There isn't an Oracle in production. Oracle's name is Roger. This is not Roger Rabbit or Mr. Rogers. This is just Roger, the stressed-out computer science major. Accidentally coded his consciousness into his programming homework without realizing it, and then the program was lost to time. Many years later, it was discovered by the Protoss among tossed human technology thought to be worthless. Upon discovery, the Protoss saw the potential and the genius. That was Roger's consciousness. but instead decided to upload it into an oracle, as they feared Roger's consciousness would realize it was once a human long ago and side with the Terrans in taking down the Protoss from the inside. Roger is now doomed to only taking suicide missions as an oracle until his imminent death. Fair enough, Roger. I don't know why I guess you're providing vision to try to kill this overlord, but couldn't even get that done, Roger. Yeah, failure of a human being coding your own consciousness into a program and then losing it, honestly. Another oracle on the way, though, so we're looking at 2, 3 oracles cruising out, which I'm pretty sure these Zerglings have seen. So that means extra spores and queens for everybody. But you can hold it. Long gone are the days of Haz, when Mass Oracle was actually incredible at killing Zerg. Oracles got immediately nerfed after that point. I think that was actually a bug. That was an undiscovered bug that they just fixed, with Oracle damage output on Pulsar Beam, like, behaving correctly against buildings and stuff. Yeah, it used to be, you'd show up with like 6 or 7 Oracles, and then spores would melt, and hatcheries would die, and queens really never stood a chance. But now queens are better, and spores are better, and Zerg doesn't instantly die to this every single time anymore. It was hilarious while it lasted, though, I gotta say. Roach production, gonna start here soon from Serral. We're working on, okay, Twilight Council and a Robo. Yeah, queen count is high, spore count is high. I don't know what these oracles were expected to do. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't understand. I mean, sure, they're able to keep the third base alive against a large number of Zerglings without question, but they're not getting any harassment done. That is a Nidus network in production for Serral right now. I mean, they'll find some damage just because they're 3 oracles, and what else are you going to do with your life? Okay, now they're 2 oracles. I'm not sure if one of those was Roger or not, but the damage is just not worth it for what these oracles cost. I'm very concerned about Zest in this particular game. Another Nidus is coming up. Nidus Worm, rather. So, Nidus Network first. Into a Nidus Worm, and the third base is going to be in trouble. I'm not sure Zest can hold this, to be honest. He's got some sentries, 3 sentries, an Immortal. Army supply is 52 to 34 in favor of Serral. He's bringing the queens. He's going to lay some tumors, I think. Nope, no tumor laying. We're saving all the energy for transfuses, and another Nidus coming up inside the main. The oracles are going to try to burn this one down, and they're not bad at killing Niduses, and they get it. Meanwhile, the attack coming into the third base. Force fields are good. Ravagers are present. Taking out shield batteries is a massive victory. Any of those shield batteries dying is good. Lings jumping on top of your sentries is bad news bears for Zest. Again, not quite able to hold here, losing another sentry. Actually, creep spreading a bit, but not a ton right now. And Serral gonna pull back, and let's go inside the main base through this Nidus Worm. Doop, 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 doop. Everyone's inside the main base. That poor shield battery comes up and instantly dies. Like, very, very close to death here. And the Niduses are the bane of Zest's existence here today. He does do a recall to get back into the main base, but then he just moves everybody down to the third base because the army went from there on the recall. And it turns out Nidus Worms are real fast for transporting units. Instantaneous. Effectively, as a matter of fact. So third base in a lot of trouble. A bunch of probes going down. Another Nidus Worm coming up inside the main base of Serral. Just in full view of Zest and everything in production. Aspire. More roaches. Back into the Nidus Worm. And can this one come up? It can. Bunch of Lings rolling into the natural base. A Ravager gets out too. These probes are fighting, but I don't know if you want to be fighting here against these probes with their Lings and Ravagers present. 10 probes down. Zest was a happy 3-basing Protoss with like 60 workers. He's down to 41 right now. The Lings still running around inside the natural base. Another Nidus coming up inside the main. And Serral on 3 bases here and 50 workers is just absolutely funneling everything he has into this play. In fairness, he is making Aspire. And, but I don't know that he's going to be able to have time to use it here. Usually, if there's creep inside the Protoss base and they don't have time or the wherewithal to clear it, it's bad. It's really bad. A lot more probes dead. More probes dead. The army shows up. And the roaches evacuate, and there are no more Nidus. Oh, never mind. There's this Nidus Worm. There are more Nidus Worms, but Zest doing a good job splitting his army. He's just making Immortals right now, effectively. He's got a bunch of them, and you know what? He's kind of stabilized. we're looking at it, and it makes sense. But there are 6 Mutalisks in production. The Stalker count is not very high, nor, in fact, are there many cannons. There's one at the third base, and that may be the only cannon on the entire map here, which means Mutas are going to have the time of their lives. They've never felt this way before. And they swear it's the truth. Serral's getting a 4th base. Again, a good way to win StarCraft games is to be the aggressor in a lot of situations. If you're constantly defending, you're probably going to lose more often than not. I can't believe he's letting these tumors finish. Zest is afraid to go on the creep, though. Which, in fairness, that is okay. It's okay to be afraid of it, but now more creep is spreading up to the third base. Does he have detection available? You can, well, the Nidus Form's going to die anyway, but the tumors are still a problem. The patrolling finally getting rid of these creep tumors inside the main, but here come Los Mutalisks, and, well, 3 more probes down. It hasn't been one massive probe death today, but 25 have been killed. Kind of just consistently throughout the last 5 minutes or so, 2 or 3 at a time. Sure, 10 at a time this last little bit. Again, I told you what these Mutalisks are going to be able to do. Can that shield battery cover that cannon? If it can, it's really well placed. Zest has decided we just need to go. I don't know that we can hold this. These Mutalisks are a huge problem for all of my income and all of my workers. Let's go ahead and force Serral's 4th base to cancel. It's 53 to 31 workers right now. This is really bad, but Immortals are good. Banelings don't have speed. Centrifugal Hooks is on the way. Nice force fields, keeping the Banelings away as much as possible. More force fields coming up, and you know what? Zest is kind of doing this. The 4th hatch goes down. The Mutalisks killing everything inside Zest's main base. All Serral has to do here is hold, and you know what? It looks like he's held, rather. I don't know. A bunch of Zealots flanking in out of nowhere, coming in just in the nick of time to save those Immortals. They were dead Immortals. Zerglings in the match. Overlords obscuring the vision of both players right now, which is really annoying stuff. The Immortal juggling is real, guys. Yeah, 23 kills, 12 kills. Stalkers coming in. There's an Archon in the mix now, too. It is still 49 to 27 army supply. Immortals taking extra shots, and the Mutas coming in to get rid of the War Prism. What a play by Serral. War Prism down. No more juggling for you. And Serral takes the 2-1 lead in this best of 5, and another scrappy ZVP for your Sunday series today. Ay caramba. Oh, that was fantastic. What an absolutely fun game. Again, the Nidus Worms making stuff happen for Serral, allowing him to easily harass the third base and the main base. Back and forth and back and forth. I know Protoss players are complaining about that for sure. The Muta tech switch was genius, though. He knew there weren't many Stalkers in response to the Roaches and the Lings and the Ravagers that we were seeing out of Serral. And so the Mutas came in, caused major problems for the economy. 37 probes died to 5 drones killed. And sure, Serral lost a hatch, and he lost 100 Zerglings and 7 Nidus Worms. But overall, he had enough to hold the attack on the other end. It was a little bit close. He had to bring the Mutas home, but that's not really much of a concern. So well played indeed by Serral, up 2-1 in this best of 5. Moving into a pivotal game number 4. Serral can close this out, you guys. He can close it out now. Let's see if he does. Don't leave that seat. Ephemeron, the Ladder Edition, is where we find ourselves for game number 4. Top left, it is Serral. Bottom right, it is Zest. FalconPaladin.store is where you can find merch. Pretty easy to remember, right? FalconPaladin.store. Probe moving out a little bit earlier today than in the past. Didn't even wait around to throw down a gateway or anything. Is this going to be Cannon Rush? Do we feel like... What are you going to make, little second probe? What is on your mind here today? Going to get up to 150 minerals and do something with it. Come on, little dude. Gateway. All right, gateway, it's fine. You just want to get up here in time to block the natural. Which, again, is not going to be the difference between you winning and losing a game. Unless the Zerg player you're playing against, like, rage quits. Because that happens. But anyway, Serral was ready for it. He knew it was going to happen on this map. He knew it was a short rush distance, and he just threw down his hatch over here instead. Again, he doesn't care. He's going to be 3-basing it in about a minute and a half anyway. So why worry? Why me worry? Pool going down at 17 supply. Probe coming in for the scout and the harassment. And to play the mineral game. So, for those of you who don't know, I do cast these about a week in advance. I like having a week buffer up, just so if there's any problems with uploading or whatever, I don't have to be like, this is my video for tomorrow. I have to really work on it. If there's a problem, I have 7 days to worry about it until it's really a problem. So, anyway, that's part of the reason. The point is, I've been making some comments about the coronavirus here on the channel, and they're not up to date, right? I'll say something, and then a week later, it posts, and you guys are like, this is out of date. Yes, that is why. It's because everything I'm talking about is a week old. So, bottom line, I think I said something about Australia not having the coronavirus last time when a video came up, and when it actually posted, it did have the coronavirus. Anyway, at this point, Italy's having some trouble with it. Obviously, I think I saw a report of them, like 13 million Italians are quarantined right now, just because they're worried about how it's kind of taking off in their country. The U.S. is not too much of a problem right now. I mean, obviously, China's doing some stuff, and the reports out of China are they're getting a handle on it, but it's China. I don't know if I trust their reports anyway. So, yeah, it doesn't seem bad, but it's not going in the right direction, which is a bit of a concern. Anyway, Zerglings trying to move on out, trying to get some stuff done, but there's obviously adepts in production. There is another Twilight Council from Zest. Alright, man, we're going to go for more Resonating Glaive Adepts. It's worked once, it hasn't worked once. I mean, the time that it worked, it was more of a 7 minutes later it worked, rather than the attack itself was the reason that Serral tapped out, you know what I mean? Yeah, there we go. Robotics Facility coming up, Twilight Council on the way. The gas production is good. A Stalker here to chase away the Overlord. Hitting all of the milestones as Serral's third base is coming up inside of his natural base location due to a bit of some probe harassment. It is Resonating Glaives again. Dang, Zest. You really believe in this strategy versus Zerg, don't you? I mean, Serral's response to it is obviously roaches. We'll see if he gets another quick Roach Warren here or not. And again, the problem with this build is it's hard to keep scouting Overlords out if you only have one Stalker, and that's all this build has you do. So the Stalker is patrolling around a bit, trying to see if maybe you need to worry about Zerglings or Overlords coming in. Is there a Roach Warren coming in? Yes, in fact. Serral started that Roach Warren. Now, he's just blind, and if you're blind to what's going on, there's a good chance you're going to want some roaches in the next couple of minutes here. So just get it started. Just about 3.5 minutes. You don't have to actually make any roaches if there's not an attack coming, but having it means better safe than sorry, and that's how this works. I love this Ling spread that Serral's rolling with. He's going to see everything that comes out of the Protoss base right now, no matter what angle they take, no matter what it is. This is great. This Warp Prism's like, I'm a sneaky Warp Prism. Let's go. And then is immediately spotted by Zerglings. And they're Adepts. So more Lings in production. Again, Lings and Queens can handle an initial round of Adepts. It's just when they get Resonating Glaives, and it's when there are like 10 of them, that the Roaches need to start popping. So here we go. Roaches start popping. There we go. 5 Roaches in production. But you know what? He doesn't have any right now. Serral may have droned a little bit too hard, you guys. These Adepts. There are not enough Lings here. There are not enough Roaches here. The drones are taking hits. The Queens are fighting. The Adepts are going to shade back on up to the third base. The drones have no home right now. They can't mine at the natural base. They can't mine at the third. They're taking some serious hits to their numbers. The Adepts are going to try to take down this hatchery, which, again, not normally something they can accomplish, but in these numbers and with Resonating Glaives, they can hit it pretty hard. Again, they two-volley these Roaches. What? What? 5-minute game? Wow. I don't, what, okay, so there's 15 Adepts versus 3 Roaches and 20 Lings. Yeah, that's fair. That's not a good place, but what's in production? 2 Roaches. I think Serral, he doesn't have a bank. He doesn't have the resources to make what he needs to deal with this. Yeah, I really think he didn't start making Roaches fast enough. I think he maybe assumed that Serral, or that Zest was not going for a ton of Adepts, but instead just a few of them like we see from time to time. But the Warp Prism's a tell. Like, the Warp Prism indicates this is not just a couple Adepts. This is a lot of Adepts that are incoming. I don't know what that was. Like, people smarter than me in the comments explain what happened, because I'm pretty sure that what there was Wow. I mean, again, it just seems like he didn't know it. He didn't read it properly, which is not something Serral does a lot, obviously. But it happened here. So that puts us in a pivotal game number 5. Amazing. I'm kind of speechless here. Let's go ahead and get out of this one and hop into game number 5, I guess. I was expecting a longer match, but sometimes we get surprised. Let's move in to the 5th and final game of this best of 5 series, the rubber match. Hit that like button if you're excited, and let's go. Game 5, Game 5, we're here for Game 5 on Zen, and it's Zest and Serral. Alright, top right Protoss, bottom left Serral. Kind of like Zen, it's a weird map, right? You have a ramp leading up to your natural that you can wall off with, I don't know, a pylon or a supply depot if you want. And then the right side here, if you're on the top, is fairly wide open. And other than that, there are little places that units can get through. Just single file. And then larger ramps to the side here. Anyway, the drone's like, I don't care, man. Do what you want to do. This doesn't hurt me at all. I say, as the last game Zest did it and he won the match. I mean, if this just comes down to Zest is doing another Adept Resonating Glaive all-in and he wins, I don't know what to say. I may just take off my headset and go do something else for a while. Yeah, I don't even know. He's been so effective with it. It's had such a fantastic success rate here today against, you know, one of the best Zergs on planet Earth right now. I mean, Serral obviously did not win BlizzCon in 2019, but he's been all over the place in Premier tournaments in 2019. He's here in the semifinal of Katowice 2020. So, yeah, I mean, Serral is not falling apart here by any stretch, but I don't know. I'm not sure that Serral in 2019 would have gone to a Game 5 versus Zest. Zest is just playing that much better. I gotta attribute it to him. He's playing scrappy. His macro is on point. His decision-making is fantastic. He got picked apart in one of the games by Nidus Worms, which is really frustrating to deal with. And he lost another game with an Adept all-in that didn't do anything, plus the Adepts died. So yeah, I mean, Zest is just, he's on point here. Serral's on point right now, with the possible exception of that last game. This should be an incredible, incredible game number 5 here, you guys. I'm expecting a lot. But in before a Nidus attack completely wipes out Zest's main mineral line. 230, third base. Oh, no. Okay. There we go. Just kind of overshot the marker a little bit here. Once again, we have... Oh, it's a Stargate opening. All right, so we're going to Stargate this one. Which indicates we're probably not going to see those Adepts again. So I don't know. If we're not Adepting it, how well can Zest get the upper hand in the early game is the question. Serral keeps sending Lings out. Not so much to kill stuff, I don't think, as just get an early idea of what Zest is up to. Just keeping an eye on the sneaky, sneaky Protoss player while he can. And actually a Phoenix opening. He's not even going for the Oracle. Oh, I had an Oracle name ready to go and everything. We get those from time to time in the comments. If you're wondering what's up with the Reaper names and the Oracle names, it's just from a different time when games took a lot longer to start and get interesting. And so I started naming Reapers just so we'd have something to talk about in the early stages of the match. But I don't know. I kind of feel like they're not as needed as they used to be. But hey, tradition is tradition. We like continuing the traditions here on the channel. All right, man. Another Phoenix in production. Are we going Mass Phoenix here? Would be the question of the day. Mass Phoenix, a weird, kind of off-the-wall strategy that I've seen Zerg players handle basically just by going for a bunch of Roaches and Ravagers and just walking across the map and killing the Protoss. We'll see if that's something that Serral is into. He does have his Spores up this time, at least in the main base. And he's tossing one up at the third base too, and the natural at the same time. So We're looking at spores, which are going to be useful against these Phoenix. If you have enough to start lifting and killing queens, though, it gets really dangerous really fast. So once you see that there are 3 Phoenix out, do you start panicking is the question. Do you start going for a Hydralisk Den and a lair? Is he making a... He's not making a lair. So the queens are stabbing away. They don't kill the Phoenix that quickly, but they do hurt. You don't want to just stand there and take the shots if you're Protoss, but you don't have to worry about your units instantly evaporating if the queens start hitting them either. So that's kind of the trade-off. Roach Warren is walling off the front door. He's worried about Adepts coming in there and walking up to his front and causing some problems. But I don't see any sign of resonating glaives. If it is Adepts, it's going to be regular style Adepts. And so far, so good here. I mean, Zest is harassing a bit. He's kind of keeping Serral at home. Serral's on 3 bases. Zest is allowed to get his 3rd base up just because the Phoenix can do some lifting and killing of anything that walks over there. So the timing here for Zest is aggressive, but it's working out. He has just enough units to defend that 3rd base to where it is going to pay off for him, but he doesn't have to wait for a ton of army to make it happen. So part of this is shield batteries. Part of this is walling off the front, so a frontal assault of Lings can't do much. Phoenix are trying to find overlords to kill, but I mean, they're pretty centered on these spores. Couple drones down, the ones on the gas getting killed there, no problemo. And I kind of want to know what Serral's answer is. He's just making Lings and Queens. He is going for Glial Reconstitution and +1 melee attack. So there is no sign. No, just kidding. There's a lair. There is a lair. The question is, are we going to go for Hydras? Or are we going to go for Aspire? At this stage, Zest is kind of doing the Protoss thing of everything he wants. Templar Archives. Going for upgrades, going for charge, getting 4 gateways at a time, really ramping up on this 3-base economy where he has 58 workers. Sure, Serral has more than he does, but Serral also needs a 4th base, which he just started taking now on the left side of the map. Phoenix, man, they're... Look how far away they are from the edge of the map here, and look where they are on the mini-map. They are right on the edge. Can you see this? Down there? That's so strange to me. Hallucinated Colossus. Interesting. I don't know that Serral has any way of knowing that's a fake. He hasn't scouted for a while. Archon Harass coming in. Traditional Archon Harass, which we have not seen in the series, or really in a ZVP in a while. It just feels like Serral and other Elite Zergs can handle it. No big deal these days. Also, the Roaches are out. Glial Reconstitution is going to be done, and that's kind of the answer to this whole Archon shenanigan stuff, is Roaches with speed can deal with it very excellently well. So it's not going to be Mass Phoenix, obviously. We're going to other tech paths right now. This Warp Prism wants to go in. The Ling is scouting that area, though. He knows this is a vulnerable place for units to come in and start killing stuff. So he wants some heads-up advance warning if he can get it. Overseer with speed now gets the perfect scout off. I mean, we're seeing the number of warp gates. We're seeing the tech structures that are done. We're seeing what's researching. Phoenix cruising in here. They're going to help with this. So the Phoenix is going to lift the Queen. The Archon's going to kill it as it's in the sky. I sort of really love this. Out of Zest. Plus he's attacking up the left side. There are Banelings versus these Zealots and this hallucinated Colossus that's in the party. Banelings trying to get on top of the Zealots. No, the Archons absorb most of the hits there. Zest performing exceptionally well on 2 fronts right now. The attack in the main base. Drones are going down by the scores here inside the main. Archons are holding the line. Oh, getting some hits off. Zealots trying to get on top of those drones. 12 drones have been killed. On the other side, the War Prism takes a Corrosive Bile or 2 to the head, but that's not enough to kill it. The Roaches are fighting against these charge lots. Phoenix getting serious damage done and also taking hits at the same time from the spores. The main base is a total loss from Serral. What is this attack out of Zest? I don't know that Serral was prepared for it. I don't think he saw it coming. Did he forget about the Phoenix that were hiding on the left side? He's down 25 drones. He's down 25 drones. The main base is done, and that is your good game. Zest moves on to the finals of Katowice 2020. An absolutely fantastic display from Zest, making it happen. Blah, 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 blah. Wow. It wasn't resonating glaives. It wasn't resonating glaives, but it was a lot. It was a lot, nevertheless. The Phoenix got so much done. The Archons blocking that ramp there. The Roaches were out of position. Zest had another attack coming in from the other side. I really wish I could have the income tap here. It would help a lot. But yeah, at the end of the day, it really wasn't a ton lost from Zest there. 22 Zealots, okay. 2 Archons, both them went down, but otherwise just a handful of other units there for 34 Roaches, 4 Ravagers, 36 Lings, 43 Drones, 2 Hatcheries. I mean, across the board, it was a total mess on that attack. Serral was pulled in every direction at once. Zest was everywhere. The Phoenix played a massive part. And that was it. So, wow, non-Zerg fans rejoice. What a display. A beautiful display there from our Protoss player. And yeah, so he moves on to the finals. I'm not going to spoil that for you who he plays in the finals, but if you watched the series last week, you know. You know already. So it's going to be a tall order, but we'll see how he does that when I cast that finals series coming up maybe next week. Probably that makes sense. That's how we're going to do this. Because Katowice had some fantastic matches, and I really want to bring them to you on this channel. So, boy, end of the day, 7,000 resources lost from Serral, 4,000 lost from Zest. Somebody is still sitting here in this game, though. Look, the music is still running. You think it's Serral? You think Serral was sitting in this game for a while? Just like, what happened? How did this happen today? And it was early attacks, right? You never let Serral get into that late game stuff. You always have stuff throwing at him. Oh, it was a referee B that was sitting there the whole time. All right. Yeah, he was just throwing attacks at him left and right. He was making him uncomfortable. He was picking off units. He was making sure that Serral didn't feel comfortable poking in. The hallucinated Colossus was interesting. I'm not convinced that Serral bought that, to be honest, but at the same time, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful play. I love hallucination when it's used, especially with big ticket items like Colossus, for obvious reasons in StarCraft history. So, fantastic display, man. Zest wins a very hard-fought series, 3-2. And that's going to be it from me today for your Sunday series. So, yeah, that's it. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, and hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.